Hello, this is Crystal Racing here to report on the news that George Russell has signed a multi-year deal with Mercedes. And in this picture, as you can see, it's a young kid, George Russell, standing next to a young Lewis Hamilton. Both of them in their natural environment, standing inside the Woking Technology Centre, which of course McLaren are trying to sell right now. And of course, in other news, Valtteri Bottas has joined Alfa Romeo. You've probably heard that from yesterday. AlphaTauri have renewed their current partnership of Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda, I've got to say, is pretty lucky to get a contract renewal because on current form, Alex Albon deserves that seat way more. But according to rumours, it does seem increasingly likely that Alex Albon will be heading for a seat at Williams next year. Where I suppose he'll probably be better off because he won't be under the pressure from Herbert Marko when he can just do what he wants. And if he really does impress Williams, he can probably eventually at some point sever his Red Bull ties and just stay at Williams and take over his best mate George's seat whilst he's at it. Of course, Alex Albon. Do I think Alex Albon deserves another chance at Formula 1? I think he does. I mean, he's currently sitting in 5th place in the DTM Championship. He won a race at the Nürburgring. He's not that bad a driver. I mean, if anyone saw him in the first half of 2019, yeah, he got beat by Kvyat, but he only got beat by a few points and they were pretty even in qualifying. So the talent is there. It is there. He's obviously not as fast as Max Verstappen, but then most drivers aren't as good as Max Verstappen. So there's that. Of course, there's also a seat available at Alfa Romeo. Of course, Callum Ilott is going to be racing at Portland in the IndyCar series for Young Cost Racing, and let's be honest, it does seem as if it's becoming less likely Callum Ilott will be heading to Formula 1 next year. There are rumours though that Nick De Vries, or De Vries, or whatever you call him, is heading for that seat at Alfa Romeo despite being a Mercedes junior. I mean, Nick De Vries won the Formula 2 Championship back in 2019, and of course he's won the Formula E World Championship, and they now call it last month. So, but of course, if he does come to F1 next year, he'll be doing it at the age of 27. I do think he's a good driver, but to be honest, there's not much to really play with Nick De Vries in terms of development because he's fully developed and he's sort of alright, but not better than someone like Antonio Giovinazzi, who we still cannot rule out for a possible seat next year. I mean, he qualified 7th at Holland. Of course, thanks to a puncher, it meant he finished 14th, even when he had a chance of scoring a point. Other drivers in the frame include Mick Schumacher, who, I mean, I don't know whether he's really particularly substantial or not, but you can't rule him out because it's, of course, his relationship with the Mazepins has completely soured after what happened last weekend in qualifying at Holland. And who else is in the running? Oh yes, Robert Shwartzmann, who's currently sitting 3rd place in the Formula 2 Championship. I don't have to say though, I mean, it's probably most likely he'll probably take Mick Schumacher's seat at Haas in order to allow Mick to go to Alfa Romeo, and it'll be it'll literally turn Haas into Team Russia. Other candidates I'm trying to think of include maybe Oscar Piastri, who has been absolutely phenomenal in the junior series, winning a title almost every year. He's been through every level, but of course for some reason, of course with Alpine having renewed Ocon and Alonso's contract, there's no seat there. And of course, in addition, there's also Chinese star Ganyu Zhou, who of course is currently sitting in 2nd place in the Formula 2 Championship behind Piastri. However, this is now Ganyu Zhou's 7th year of junior Formula racing, and I have to say, you know, he finished runner-up in his first season of Formula 4 back in, I don't know, in the Italian series back in 2015. He spent 3 years in Formula 3 where he only managed to win 1 race. And now he's in his 3rd year of Formula 2 where he's finally a championship contender. I mean, he took his first win last year in, well, a red flagged race at Russia, which stopped after only 5 laps. I mean, pretty much he only won it because he had the reverse grid pole. I have to say, Ganyu Zhou is really sort of very average when it comes down to it. He has a lot of speed, but his racecraft is very, very poor, to be honest. And I mean, the only way he's going to get a seat at Williams or Alfa Romeo is if a Chinese sponsor coughs up the money, because, let's be honest, I don't really see him being any better than Nicolas Latifi. And, you know, if I forgot any other names, you know, maybe Petro Fittipaldi, but I think that's just miles, he's miles off from getting a Formula 1 seat. Possibly Dan Tickton, but of course he's got no sponsor behind him, so that's not happening. Of course, other alternatives could well be, I don't know, Nico Hulkenberg. I mean, he's been a reserve driver for Aston Martin this season, but you know, his best days are probably behind him, and the seat he's most likely to get is probably going to be at Williams now. Although I highly doubt he'll be back in F1. And then, of course, there's also Daniil Kvyat, who, of course, has been a reserve driver for Alpine, but of course I think he's also another one on his way out. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to Crystal Racing, and do all the yabba 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 in the comments below, and I'll see you later.